Afternoon, people. Welcome to your afternoon rabble on the Rangers Rabble Podcast. Of course, part of the TalkSport fan network as well. I've been told to say all that at the start, or otherwise Martin Snipers will come after me. Hope you're all well. I'm Trev as always, as you unfortunately know this mug. Can't get it out your eyes once you've seen it. But I'm also joined by an old sidekick, aka my season ticket holder Rangers friend, and that is Ash. Ash, how the hell are you? It's been a minute.
I'm very well, thank you. I assume that the old means the length of our friendship rather than my
Oh,
age,
aye.
Trevor.
That
We'll
you?
go with that so we don't fall out early doors. No, it's good to be back on with you. I think the last time we did that was my debut show, so it's nice to get the band back together.
It is. It was the very first show you come on. We could come on together. It was just timing. It's just timing, really, isn't
Mm.
it? And who have we got here? Scott Kearney, 12:31. No, it was 12:30, Scott. I literally waited. Actual test. There was a delay of nothing at the very start. I waited till the counter hit zero, and then I hit go live straight away, so that everyone's coupon on when we would start would be absolutely busted.
I did,
But
as I said to you, Trev, I thoroughly enjoyed the comment in the chat saying that it definitely isn't Martin hosting today because the link was up half an hour before kickoff. So, yes, I do enjoy that. That's very good.
Aye, I got a little chuckle from that. Here, how good is that intro, by the way? Are you a fan?
Oh, tune. Absolute tune. I do like
I've
that.
no idea what it is. I'm sure I've heard it somewhere before. I absolutely adore it regardless, man.
I think it's like
Ab-
they've turned it into a dance tune, but I think actually Ian might have said it's like the orchestra version of that, but it's good. I enjoy the change up, and I see a few folk comment on the saxes, so they like it as well.
yes, they do. They do. Who have we got in chat just to see? Oh, here we go. Sniper's here. Sniper, it's been a while, mate. Hope you're well. If it's not Martin says it's day off, I think they might just be on time. I'm sure it's Trevor Nash. Yes, it is. Someone else here, if you've been checking the comments, were a wee bit. Oh, there you go. A wee compliment for you, Ash.
Oh,
Uh,
isn't that lovely?
that is sweet. Someone said something about us being bloody Richard and Judy. Us two, Richard and Judy, were many things.
I mean,
Richard and
I,
Judy.
I don't know what to do with that. I mean, they do a book club. I know that, so I don't know. I don't know if that's something we're going to venture into, Trev. If the podding doesn't work out, I suggest. I guess not, but it's always good to have options. But I like that. That was funny.
It certainly is. It's Infinity by Guru Josh Project. I knew I recognised it with the sax in it.
Tune.
Yes, well done. Right, well, welcome everyone. I'll try and bring up the comments as and when I can. I haven't hosted one in a little while, so hopefully it goes nice and smooth. Ash, because I don't think you've been on a pod this week yet. Since have you been on a pod since the Motherwell game?
No, I think the last one I did was the preview of the qualifier against Panathinaikos. So it's been a while, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
slacking.
Right. Well, briefly then we'll get that stuff out of the way because I don't have your opinion on that certainly. Maybe not spend as much time in the Motherwell game because it's nearly a week old and it's a bit depressing. But I think I know you well enough, Ash. You would have been absolutely raging, pissed off, scunnered. Here we go again. Once you saw that, would I be right in saying so?
Yes, I had that horrible deja vu feeling of I hope that it's not going to be a chore again going to watch Rangers domestically this season because that is very much how it felt for a large majority of last season. And I just thought, what a way to kill the buzz of the high of the Panathinaikos qualifier. So, no, I was really disappointed. But look, you're right. There's no point dwelling on the negatives. I think you have to look at what they actually. Sorry, try to keep a straight face when I'm saying that. You have to look at the positives, and the positives were not only that the players reacted to that performance against Motherwell with a much improved outing on Tuesday, but actually we saw coaching changes. We actually saw the manager back himself and make some really difficult decisions, and the players responded to it. So for me, that's a huge positive. And if we, maybe we needed to have that bump in the road. Shouldn't have
Yeah.
happened, but it did. The season is long. Domestically, nothing is lost yet. But yeah, I think it's just a really positive sign that we got that performance on Tuesday, and it's something to build from, I think, which is the key thing.
100%. We've got Singing the Blues in here. I definitely take this as a compliment. Ash is the
Again, I don't know what to do with that one. Singing the blues, very not true, but very kind.
We'll take that. We'll take that. I mean, Lucy's a legend, so is Ash as well. To be fair, so there you go. So after the banter, man, you can't just—it's all about the
Love it.
banter. This is what separates us from the review, by the way, right? They've got no banter. They've got all the technical stuff, but no banter at all, man. Like they would start a fire in there. It's that dry with lack of humour.
I don't think I've seen Lucy Pinder come up in their conversation. You're spot on. So yeah, no, there is a difference.
So see when Martin came out with his comments last weekend, right? I was thinking to myself, Ash, that this is something we've heard before. Gaffers have said, right, I'm going to make changes. I'm going to do this, that. I won't drop certain players. No actions will actually come from the words that they say. And that's what I thought. I went, all right, Russell, you threw him under a bus. They deserve to be thrown under a bus. Are you actually going to do anything? And I was saying this to Martin yesterday and earlier in the week. Will anything actually happen? Because you've got to actually back it up. And damn, he did. He literally, for Tuesday's game, Ash, he brought in a few new players. I did not expect Raskin to be dropped. I really didn't. Maybe Dill to be dropped. I wasn't sure if Tav would be dropped, but I mean, the stones in this, man, he actually dropped these players and put in other players in their position. And by God, it bloody worked, didn't it?
It did, and it was so refreshing because I think we all had the fear after the Motherwell game. And apologies, I don't want to talk about it too much. I know we've moved on, but I think it is quite an important part of what's going to happen this season. Yeah. We all had the fear that he was going to come out and defend the players and tell us that what we'd just witnessed and how we felt about the game wasn't the reality. He did none of that. I'll be really honest, when I heard him do his pre-European qualifier press conference, and I felt like he maybe walked some of it back a little bit, but actually, again, that was just good management. He was basically trying to think to take the heat out of the comments. He stood behind them, but he sort of said, maybe the way that ego has been interpreted is not the way that I meant it. And he kind of softened the blow a little bit. And then, I kind of thought, well, are we going to go into Tuesday with the same lineup? And no, you're right. He made some critical changes that had a massive impact. The whole team looked more comfortable. There was much better balance. Everyone looked to be more at ease, I think, with what they were being asked to do in a way that we've not really seen this season so far because we had so many players playing out of position. So, huge respect for him. He took a gamble. It's paid off. But listen, we're only a couple of weeks into the season. I don't want to get too high and I don't want to get too low. But if that blip had to come, it's over and done with. And I just hope that the players continue to turn up. And, if we play 7, 8 out of 10 every single game, if everyone turns up and does that, we're going to win far more games than we lose. And we're going to be in a much better position this season than we were last season. So that's all you can really hope for.
So you're telling us that if we can at least get everyone to be a Sasa Papic, we've got a great starting point.
Listen, 11 Sasa Papiches would be quite wonderful. I've taken that many times in the past couple of seasons. But no, I mean, I think that's true. We don't need to be at our absolute best. But if our players give 100%, they're technically good enough to beat most of the teams domestically. And there's no excuse for some of the performances we had last season. So a lot of it is effort. Some of it is coaching and tactics, of course. But the players have to come with the new manager. And on Tuesday, I think we saw a sign that they're willing to do that.
Yes. You guys are doing your damnedest to put me off here, aren't you, man?
Nice knowing you, Timothy.
Tim, I told you not to tell anyone. Singing the blues, he'll get jealous, man. A couple of them will get really jealous that they thought they're the only ones that got a VIP tour of the old loft. You cheeky boys. Right, the other thing I wanted to... Poor Sasa Papic, he must have like post-traumatic stress syndrome from Al McGregor shouting in his ear constantly, man. That guy's right lug, he must be like partially deaf in the right ear permanently now because of McGregor.
Yes, I do remember that famous camera picking up that quote, but I probably can't say it online.
Sasa, a ball here.
There we go. Yes, I did enjoy that.
What do you all think of these kickoff times? That's an interesting... Yes, I spoke to Ash for this because I said, are you going to the Alloa game next week? And she said, no, I can't be arsed. No, I'm not joking. She didn't say that. She went, it's challenging because those kickoff times are a pain in the backside. It's all down to TV, Ash. We've got next to no say over that. I take it you hate them as much as I do.
I do, and hot off the press, I can do that game now, but that's on a side. But yeah,
Um,
no, I don't like. I mean, we very rarely get to play at home 3 o'clock on a Saturday because of European football. Now, hopefully, we get into the Champions League, and that will be less of an issue. But a lot of our games are pushed onto the Sunday. But 5:45 on a Saturday night, it's just no. And then 2 weeks in a row, that's pretty disappointing. But you're right, Trev. We're dictated to by the money men in football, and there's a lot of money in playing these games live. I think it's on Premier Sports, as you say. So there's not much we can do about it. We have to accept it, but it is a pain, especially those that have got families and stuff as well, or those that like to hit the pub for a few drinks too. It's not ideal.
aye, that's what I was thinking actually, because it is a pain for the Northern Irish Bears. It
Yeah, of
is a
course.
pain for people travelling from the other side of the country. It's all right for us, we're in the Central Belt, but I guess for those that don't have many commitments, there is that little Saturday night you can have a bevy after. I mean, can you just imagine they have the Old Firm game at that time?
Never happen. Not anymore, anyway.
The absolute utter riots. Um, we've got Brian here. Is it the press conference today? I'm not sure, Brian. I'm going to assume yes,
Yeah.
because there's nothing out there. I checked in I checked in the news just beforehand, and there was was not much there. And it is a true story, Jordy. It is on Airbnb if you do want to rent it out. That is very true.
I
Um,
also saw it on Crime Watch, but that's a whole other conversation, I think.
referee, that's showing a yellow, man. That's
Oh,
showing a yellow.
uh,
Who have we got? Paul, you're in Edinburgh now, working, you poor man, in the middle of August during Fringe Festival. It is an absolute, utter riot. So, the thing I wanted to discuss really briefly, I was checking for up-to-date news before we get to the stuff about tomorrow. And young Ross McCausland was on getting interviewed after his first game for Aris Limassol. I don't know who was interviewing him, Scottish journalist or Scottish person anyway, and he's asking him how he was getting on. He said, Ash, that it was good to get the first game out of the way. I think they get beat. I'm not sure the result,
mm.
but he did say it was bloody hot. He'll need to get used to that. Being a Northern Irish lad, he's probably melting in that heat. I believe when Wilfin that went over. Greece. It is Greece, isn't it? Or is it Cyprus? Greece.
Cyprus, yeah.
Cyprus. That neck of the woods is really, really hot at this time of year, so he's struggling. But he was asked if he watched the game on Tuesday, and he said yes, he has watched the game on Tuesday, and that he thinks these new boys that have come in are absolutely brilliant. I think he was a bit awestruck about the talent ahead of him, and that led me on to my point of he basically knew he had to leave Rangers at least just now to get game time. He's up against stiff competition at the moment. And then just as he get asked why he moved over there as well as competition or to get a starting spot, was it because of a couple of your old teammates are there? And then you just heard someone shout from the side, "It's because of me," and it was Big Balogun, Big Leon, man.
That's good. To be
Am
fair,
I
like
right?
that might have been part of it because a young guy moving abroad, that is a difficult adjustment. So I think having a
I'm in
couple of
Connor.
leaders and yeah, but Connor, and obviously you've got Balogun, who's a character. It probably was part of the thinking. I'm sure it wasn't the deciding factor, but it's not a bad place to go because at least you've got a couple of guys in the dressing room that'll help you acclimatise and get in with the group. So, look, you wish him all the best. I have no. I question. I don't mean this to be disrespectful. I question whether he has the talent to play as a first team player for Rangers. I think that boat has sailed, sadly. But
Yeah.
he's one of us. He gave 100% every time he played. I want him to do well on a personal level, but also selfishly, I want him to do well from a footballing perspective because that helps us potentially move him on for a decent value in the summer, whether it's to the Cypriot club or whether it's to a different team in Europe. So yeah, wish him nothing but the best, and can't say I'm disappointed to see an upgrade in those positions because I do think that width and lack thereof was a huge problem, and it was evident to see on Tuesday the difference it makes to have two players that play as wingers.
Yeah. Yeah, he stood no chance. I wasn't a massive fan when he came in. Like, listen, it was Davo that started him, and I don't blame him for doing that. We were at that stage where if you remember, Ash, we couldn't even do the simple stuff. We were sometimes struggling to string a couple of passes together, basic passes, which is just stuff you should be able to do in your sleep as a footballer. And Davo brought him on, and he done those things well. I'm sorry if that's how bad we got, that we were actually bringing in someone to do the basic stuff well. That should be par for the course, and he did do that stuff well. But that's all he ever brought to the table. The guy did try. I'll give him that. 9 times out of 10, he did try. He did run. He did work hard. But he then got really predictable. He was cutting in all the time. And you know me, you know my opinion on wingers. I don't mind them cutting in sometimes. But if you're cutting in constantly, then I'm not a fan of that at all. You like a winger, don't you? Like most of us there. Do you like a winger that can do both, or are you all right with someone like a Czerny that just cuts in most of the time?
To be honest, it's exciting to see a player, beat someone, get to the byline and throw a big cross at the back post, and a big centre forward towers it into the goal. But I just want a successful winger. And you're right. I think McCausland. I think there's a reality that we probably failed him a little bit as well. The instability at the club, the lack of structure, etc. I don't think that helped. And then I'm kind of being bombed out of the squad a lot. He's not really played a lot of football, but no, I mean, I don't think that takes away from the fact I don't think he's not shown the talent level to consistently be a first team player. But he did burst onto the scene.
Right.
I remember that goal at Kilmarnock, and I thought, wow, I mean, this is what a finish that was. And you thought, God, we finally got a winger that is comfortable going inside or out. But you're right, that kind of ended, and then he became a bit predictable, and he really struggled to influence games domestically. But look, as I say, he gave 100%. We move on, and let's just see how he gets on. And hopefully next summer we're talking about him getting a decent move somewhere else.
Aye, hopefully. Either way, it works out for us regardless. We win regardless. He gets game exposure, he comes back a better player, or we're able to sell him on and get some money for him. I just don't trust a winger that can't cross the ball in, man. It's just alien to me. It's totally alien. Anyway, how good is Gasman? How good is Gasman? Jesus Christ, he's brilliant. And we're allowed to fall in love with him because he's actually ours, unlike Big Giga. How are you finding these new forward players at the moment, Ash? Without Asgard even coming into the team yet.
I love it. I think it completely changes the dynamics of what we can do up front. I mean, Gassama has been excellent. He's not always been in every game consistently. He's kind of drifted in and out at times, but that's what wingers do because they don't always have the ball. But when he's had the opportunity to make an impact, he has made such an impact. And I already love the link up with Ant-Man. The goal that Gassman scored, he was straight over.
It's not Ant-Man now. Is that what we're calling him? Ant-Man.
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is Ant-Man. I think it is. Oh God, we'll find out. We'll need to listen to Tom Miller on Rangers TV. I love that he went straight over to Ant-Man and was basically, celebrating with him. There's a great picture of the two of them, and you just think, wow, that has, really altered the way that we can play in terms of striker. I think Dessers looked excellent on Tuesday, but part of that, I think, was who he was surrounded by and the quality. Yeah. And I don't want to get too far into the Danilo debate. I know that Dessers was brilliant, and I definitely think he should start tomorrow. I would just caveat a little bit that Danilo was playing with Finlay Curtis and Keane Dowell, and no disrespect to either of those players, but I don't think they're at the level of the two wingers we had on Tuesday. So Danilo might be sitting there saying that if I'd been given some of those opportunities and I'd had wingers that were occupying defenders, I might have been able to influence the game as well. So I think that those two wingers will make everybody better, and that's all you can really ask for.
100%. You've got multiple man there. Fall in love with Giga anyway. Yes, we always fall in love with a player, a lone player every season. I'm just saying right now, guys, we've got absolutely no chance of getting him because he was only bought by Wolves in January, I think, this year for 10 million. So best case scenario, we get him for 10 million at the end of the season. And that's best case. Worst case, we probably have to pay more because that was their buying price. And we can't afford that. We generally can't. So am I right?
No, I think you're spot on, and wages will be a factor as well. And, without knowing the details of the transfer, I'm pretty sure it was never really a loan about any prospect of us ever having him as our player. I think it was very much Wolves were saying he's maybe not ready for British football yet. Let's put him up to Rangers where he's going to have that level of competitiveness. He's going to be competing for trophies. He's going to be playing in European football. You can just tell that he's a class above. Straight away within 3 or 4 games as a young central defender to come in and have the impact that he's had and look as composed. I love the way he plays the game. I love his pace. His recovery pace is really important and something that, without Balogun, that we probably have lacked. So no, I think multiple man's right. Fall in love with who you want to fall in love with, but probably don't hope too much that you're going to see him in a Rangers jersey next year.
Yeah. And, excuse my French, he's a big bastard as well. So that always helps.
Likes a bit of rough and tumble, which is very different to some of the central defenders we've had in recent
that
years.
fall over.
Not
Aye.
pointing fingers at anyone.
No, not at all, Davies. Any word in Asgard? I was going to make a Thor joke, but I thought, no, I can't justify it, so I'm not going to. No, there isn't. I'm just a wee bit. I don't want to spend too much time on this one, Ash, but I'm a wee bit concerned that I get that the gaffer's not want to give away too much, because if you give promises and how long someone's going to be out for, and they're not back in that time, everyone holds the gaffer accountable. You can't pin it down to one exact time scale. So I think, to be honest with you, we just see them as soon as possible. They're kind of vague in purpose. I just wish the gaffer was a wee bit honest to say, listen, it's nothing serious, but it's not a really light thing either. We're just being cautious with them. It takes as long as it takes. That gives them a bit more leeway. Are you concerned about this, Ash, or are you just, should he be a bit more honest up front?
I think I'm frustrated about it. I don't know if I'm concerned. I think you're right. I think if it was a really bad injury, it would have. Don't want to use the word leak this week because that's a bit controversial given the team lineup, etc. But I think that would have come out. I don't think they would string the fans along if it was a really serious injury. I think they would be quite open about that at a certain point because it has dragged on and on. The fact he's not in the Euro squad, I think, is absolutely, indicates that we're not going to see him tomorrow. I think that realistically, Alloa might be the game, but it could also be after the international break. And I don't want to say that and scare anyone, but we've obviously got the Celtic game at the end of the month, assuming that the St Mirren game is postponed if we do the Euro qualifier. I don't think they're going to throw him into that. I think that would be a little bit reckless. So look, we just have to wait and see. I don't think Martin has been dishonest. I think maybe they've just not realised the length of time it's going to take to recover, and rather than put a timeline on it that everyone's going to hold him to, they're just trying to kind of keep it in the background as much as possible. So look, it's a frustration, but he's our player for the long term. He'll be back. And let's see what we can do without him, because if we play like we did on Tuesday, then we'll be okay. And then when he comes back, he'll add another dimension. So it's positive if you try and spin it that way.
100%. I have to say, you guys in chat need to get a room together. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're turning into one horny, dirty lot, man. Get a grip, you lot. Jesus Christ.
Listen, I've not been reading the comments. I might have to stay out of that. It'll distract me. Jeez, what's going on there?
For a man to multitask and do all this and keep it together, man, I need some kind of bloody special award, I tell you that much. That's a belter, Jordan. He's still invading York. You forget the Viking side of things. That is a belter, that. And then we got Paul saying he's only missed 4 games in his career. He's missed 6 already. Aye, it's the fact that we've only got 2 players, touch wood, injured at the moment is actually a minor miracle. So let's not forget about that. And then lastly, before we talk about the Dundee game here, let's give a wee shout out to Lyle Cameron, because he's the young boy from Dundee. Some people might have thought he was going to be a bit part player this season, and he might still be, Ash, but the guy came in and done. He is, for one of a crude saying, a manager's wet dream come true, because he literally done everything that was asked of him. He ran really hard. He was another option in midfield. He was available for a pass. He had energy and desire going forwards. Some kudos to young Cameron.
Yeah, and I think that the reality is probably Martin and his coaching staff, and I don't know, of course, this is just a thought, but when they came into the club, they probably didn't think that he was going to be a particularly big part of proceedings. That's the impression you get, given that he's kind of been on the fringes, although he did have an injury which would have impacted things. But no, I think you're right. I think he was excellent on Tuesday. He's got a lot of praise for his kind of energy and tenacity, which is definitely true. But I actually thought technically he was really, really good. There were some really clever passes. There was a good cross in the first half as well that was excellent. And his intelligence off the ball. He was picking up space. He was running into space that was causing defenders to make decisions, which was allowing players in behind him to move into those areas and cause them problems. So really delighted with him. I think he's been helped by the fact that some of our other midfielders maybe haven't performed or given the level of effort that Russell Martin wanted. But listen, that's what you want. If someone won't take their opportunity, you want someone else to step up and do that. So really pleased for him, and I would expect him to start tomorrow, given the Dundee connection and how good he was on Tuesday. It'll be good to see him play against his old club and no doubt get the boos from the 25 Dundee fans that are in the corner.
I'm looking forward to the game. I really am tomorrow, and we'll finish off on that, of course, the game tomorrow. I am on record as saying to Martin before that like I said before, I loved the gaffer's comments after the game last week, and let's see if he actually went through with his words by carrying out some difficult actions, and he did. Tuesday, he done what he was asked. What he said, he dropped some players, but I knew even if he hadn't done that, we would get up for the game on Tuesday because Europe would just seem to do that. The test for me was going to be tomorrow, because against the so-called jobbers, is it something they're going to turn up for because they only turn up for the big games? Are you? I think I know the answer to this. So you're looking forward to tomorrow, but do you think tomorrow is key to see if that carries on or not? And who would you like to see start come tomorrow?
I think it's interesting because apart from that weird period towards the end of last season where at Ibrox we were really vulnerable and were giving away ridiculous results to other teams, the games at Ibrox have never really been a problem in domestically. It's been more of when we've gone away from home or Old Firm games in previous seasons, obviously not last year. So I don't know, Trev. I don't know how much you can take from tomorrow, because I expect tomorrow to be fairly straightforward, and I hope that I'm not going to be clipped up at some point and laughed at because I'm wrong. But no, I think that, Dundee, again, I've only seen their game against Hibs last week. They weren't great defensively. There was a bit of calamity going on for the two Hibs goals. Simon Murray, I don't think, is going to make the game, and he's someone that usually causes us a few problems. So all in, I expect the team to get the job done. Where I think it will be kind of illustrative is how our kind of philosophy goes up against teams that will just sit in and defend, because we've not really had that yet. In Europe, teams have tried to play, and even Motherwell, I think after the first part of the first half, they realised that we weren't really very clinical up front. So actually they were going to come out and try and put us under pressure and win the ball up high. So we've not really played a team that sits deep in this low block, for want of a better way to put it. So I think that'll be interesting. That'll be a test to see how we overcome that and how we challenge that. So that'll be something. I don't know if you can put too much stock into the result, because I would expect us to win quite comfortably. Touchwood. Yeah. Dundee, I think, are going to go down this year. The fans already hate Stephen Presley. I think that's going to get pretty toxic pretty quickly, to be honest. But I do expect rotation. Tomorrow.
Who would you like to see start tomorrow? I'm not asking necessarily for your kind of starting 11, but what should it be the same team as Tuesday, for example? Would you like to bring in other faces tomorrow instead?
So I think Aarons is an interesting one. He obviously went off. I say injured. I'm not sure that he went off injured, but he had a knock, and I think they thought there's no point risking him. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tav come back in. Maybe at centre back, Trev. I don't know what your thoughts are. I would maybe be tempted to put Manny in. Fernandes. I know that's a risk, but I feel like if you're going to bleed him into the team, then is Dundee at home not really the time that you would possibly do that? Maybe give Suter a rest, because we know that his body doesn't always stand up to 50, 60 games a season. So I'd maybe be tempted to give him some minutes before he starts against Alloa, which I expect Manny to do. So that's one. I think in midfield it'll be really, really interesting. Do you think Raskin will come back in straight away? That was a sore one for him on Tuesday. That would have been painful. And it's a teachable moment. Does he come in and does he have the right attitude? Or does he sulk and risk the potential that he doesn't make the World Cup squad? So I think that dynamic is going to be really interesting to see as the season progresses. I think Raskin will start tomorrow. I think Russell Martin will put him back in and give him a chance to make amends for what happened last week. So I don't expect massive changes, but I do expect probably defensively, midfield, you might see a couple, but I think Dessers will be the starting centre forward. He still needs some minutes to build up from the time he's missed during pre-season, and you can't really drop him after how well he played on Tuesday.
It'll be interesting to see who he does go with tomorrow. I I think he will start Raskin as well. And purely because he got the right reaction from Raskin after dropping him the last game and bringing him on the second half, he showed that, okay, no one's bigger in the club. No one's bigger individually in this club than the club itself. And that proved to be the case. If he'd had bad form or bad attitude coming back off the bench, that would have been a different matter. I think Rothwell should probably get a wee rest as well. So maybe Raskin can actually go ahead into his actual natural position rather than playing to the left a bit, because I think that's part of the reason why he's been a little bit guff. But either way, tomorrow it's a chance to mix things up a little bit. Dessers does deserve to keep his place. I haven't decided necessarily to ditch Danilo, give him more of a chance, but honestly, at the moment, it's Dessers' shirt to lose, with Egerman still to come back and provide competition. So I am looking forward tomorrow, regardless of what happens. We will wrap up there, but everyone do me a favour before we go. Normally, Martin asks for you to hit the wee like button below, right? And it always seems like it's a copy and paste. So I like to mix it up a little bit, right? If you think that Martin and or me is a fanny, can you hit the like underneath the YouTube video for us, right? If you think both of us or one of us.
Can I like live? I'm wondering while I'm on. Can I do that?
If you hit it 3 times, it's even better. So there you go. So if you think Martin and or me is a fanny, where is Charles here? Like, he normally actually pays to insult Martin. Is Charles, you're there, Charles, aren't you? Are you there? You're good, man. So you should definitely be doing a like. Trevin. Steve, you cracked me up. It's nice to see the regulars. I will give I'll give half a like. Mark's a fan of, you're just a bellend, right? Okay. Cheers, Charles. Love you, mate.
You asked for that. You totally asked for that. It was beautiful.
Oh no, I did. But let's see if it actually works or not. If you hit it 3 times, you'll take away the like, Trev. Like, dislike, like. No, you won't. See what I've done there. That would be twice, you know. Oh, I'm very sorry, King Charles. Sorry, Gary. Sorry, Charles. Right, okay. We'll wrap up there, people. Ash, thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow for the game.
Yes, thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for the comments. It's been good fun as always. Makes the show, doesn't it?
It does. And we'll see if Martin's actually put the end credits in or not, if he's made an absolute utter borage of this. We'll find out. Thank you, everyone. We will speak to you soon. Cheerio.